Holy moly. Hey everybody on YouTube. Just wanted to make a video to talk about my vertigo and dizziness. I know I haven't made a video in like 2 years, I want to say. Possibly 2 years. I don't even remember when I made those. But yeah. Maybe, yeah, it was 2 years ago. I made a video about my vertigo and dizziness, and a lot has gone on since then. It is now, it'll be 3 years in March or April when I had my bad episode. And yeah. So this is what's going on. I've been dealing with dizziness, mainly dizziness, for the last year. The previous couple, 2 years, well, it's been a year since I've had an actual vertigo attack. I'm happy, and I pray to God that it keeps going this way. And I go longer without having another one. Actually, I prefer not to have another one the rest of my life. Would be wonderful. But, yeah, we'll see what God has to say. Let's see. So, yeah, changed doctors, seen a couple other people. Not going to the natural path anymore. None of the stuff that she had me doing was really helping in the long run. So yeah, I did, whatchamacallit, I took new vitamins, and, the only vitamin I was deficient in was actually vitamin D. But the rest of my vitamins were totally fine. She had me trying other herbal things or whatever, supplements for just, for the dizziness and vertigo, and help me with my, maybe it's something going on in my body. I don't know. I mean, that's what vertigo is, and dizziness is usually a sign of something going on haywire in your body. Something else is going on. But, yeah, let's see. I did that for a while. She had me go on some kind of like, some kind of, not naturopathic, but, oh God, what is it called? I can't remember right now, because it's been like a year or two since then. But anything she gave me and had me do didn't really help. I changed my diet. That didn't help. She put me on Nature-Throid and progesterone. Because my blood test came back that I was postmenopausal. So she was hoping that would help, with my dizziness and vertigo. That did nothing. Except for giving me back my cycle, which was awesome, but kind of sucky. I didn't really have cramps or even PMS until she put me on Nature-Throid and progesterone. So, stopped taking that, because I couldn't afford it. I lost my, I didn't have any insurance. And then ultimately lost my insurance because they wouldn't take like individuals anymore. I don't really understand the whole insurance thing. And then what else? So I quit going to her. I had like a couple more episodes after that. And I decided to, ultimately, I had another, like, I just had it. I was, with the dizziness and the anxiety and the vertigo and the panic attacks, because I was having panic attacks at the same time. this was going on too. And when you have vertigo, if you're a person of high anxiety and has panic issues to begin with, adding this vertigo on top of that, how you already feel, like the panicky feeling, it causes you to keep panicking and have panic attacks. And I've noticed that with other people who have had vertigo and dizziness. And the reason why I'm saying like vertigo and dizziness is because dizziness is not vertigo. That's one thing I've learned through my research and going to doctors. So I eventually decided I was done with the naturopath. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, I quit going to her, and I was gonna try to like just leave it the way it is, and hopefully it resolves itself. And I kept having panic attacks, kept having vertigo attacks, and eventually it was like I'd be doing really, really good. I mean, still feeling off, and like I was most of the time feeling like I was gonna fall backwards, or like you get like this sinking feeling like you're in an elevator and it's like you fall. So I was getting that a lot. It felt like I was on the verge of having a vertigo attack 24/7, and that is freaking exhausting. So eventually I just had it, and I decided I'm going to go to a real doctor. So I decided or actually go to I didn't have a primary care physician, and I decided to go to an ENT. And then the ENT sent me to go get hearing test and a VNG test, which, oh my God, I was fine with the hearing test. The VNG test, I was fine with everything in the VNG test, other than when it came to blowing air in my ears. It's like warm air. Some places do warm water. The place I went to did the warm air because it's cleaner than the water. And it's just easier to take care of. You don't have to wipe up anything. And when he did the air in the ears, oh my God, I hated that because it causes you to have an actual attack. So, which then ultimately, when I did that, it made I had been doing pretty okay. And then he said, oh, it'll bring you should be back to normal, shouldn't make it worse. Well, it made the dizziness worse. And, it made the feeling of me having an attack even worse. And then it causes me to have migraines. And I was having migraines to begin with, but it felt like I had a migraine every single day after he did that with my ears. So after that, my test results came back normal. According to them, I didn't have vertigo. I had no Meniere's. Everything is fine. And then he asked me if I had migraines, and I said, yes, I do. And then he said, because everything came back normal, he said, most likely I'm having vestibular migraines. Because he also said that my dizziness would have resolved itself a long time ago if it was anything else that had, with Meniere's and what did he say? Something else. BPPV. He said even if I had that, my dizziness would have resolved a long time ago, and I wouldn't be feeling this way. And according to my tests, everything came back normal. Like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. Even my, what did he do? He sent me to ultimately my ENT sent me to a neurologist. And as I was doing that, I was going to the chiropractor and also seeing a physical therapist. Because I knew I needed to do that, because out of my research, physical therapy, typically you go to an ENT, they do all these tests, and they send you to a physical therapy. And so I was like, I was just like going to do it all on my own. So went to a physical therapist. That helped a little bit. But according to them also, especially when they did the Epley maneuvers on me and some other moves on me, they said that I don't have vertigo. Like, I had no sign of balancing issues. So I guess I'm really good at faking being normal and not having this dizziness and vertigo. So yeah. So I did physical therapy for about 6 months. And then I quit physical therapy because I'm like, I'm still the same. I'm not healing anymore from it. So, and I finally got I went to the neurologist, had an MRI, had an MRA. Everything was fine, came back normal. I did have little white, like, specks on my MRI or MRA. And he's like, there's nothing abnormal, and he can tell I guess he can tell that I'm having migraines. Like, the little specks are it's my brain showing that I'm having migraines. And so he put me on Nature-Throid, and not Nature-Throid. Oh my God. I'm tired today. I've been doing a lot. No, he put me on nortriptyline, which is an antidepressant. Actually, he wanted to put me on, God, what is it called? I want to say it starts with a T. My mother-in-law was on it for her migraines, and I opted out of it because the side effects were a whole lot more than being on the antidepressant. So he put me on the nortriptyline, and then gave me Imitrex for the migraines. So I tried to take the Imitrex. Never will again. It caused me it felt so horrible. Like, they said, oh, if the tightness, because it tightens your muscles, I guess. And it's only supposed to, like, last for maybe 15 minutes, the most. Not for me. It lasted literally 4 hours. And the tightness started in my hands and went up my arms and then into my chest and neck and throat. And oh, it was so painful. I was in tears. That's how bad this hurt. And I couldn't relax. And I hate that feeling. So I've never taken it again. I'm not going to take it again. They said, I guess the tightness in the arms is a side effect too. But it's a sign that you're having an allergic reaction. So I didn't want to take it ever again. So I'm not going to. Even though my neurologist wanted me to, I'm not going to. I would rather take, like, ibuprofen and Excedrin and die slowly from that than take Imitrex and have a heart attack, because Imitrex has been known to cause heart attacks. I had a nurse practitioner who used to work in the ER tell me that they try to actually stay away from giving patients Imitrex because they've had patients go into cardiac arrest from it. So I'm not. She even agreed. She's like, if you had the tightness in the arms, do not take it again. And because she also told me that it actually, I guess it acts like you're having a heart attack because of the tightness in the chest. So, it's not a good medication to take. Even though I know a lot of people who take it, but for me, no. I am very sensitive to chemicals. So, not going to take it. So, I went back to the neurologist. He asked me how I was doing on my my nortriptyline and then the Imitrex. And I got to tell you, it took me like 6 months to get my results back from my MRI and MRA. Actually, it didn't take that long. It only took a couple weeks to get the results back from the testing facility. But it took me like 6 months to get back in with the neurologist to go over those findings, which kind of bugged me because he kept canceling on me. And then it just wasn't a good thing. So ultimately, let's see, he upped my dosage of nortriptyline because I did have another episode last year, December. So it's been a year since I've had one. And at the time I was taking 25 and he upped it to 50. And the 50's been helping because the last one I had was back in December. And he also said that my neurologist thinks I'm not having vestibular migraines because he said that if I was having vestibular migraines, the Imitrex did take away my migraine, but it didn't take away the dizziness. And he said that it should have taken away the dizziness if it was a vestibular migraine. So he thinks there's two different things going on in my body. Yes, I'm having migraines, but not vestibular migraines. There's something else that's causing the dizziness and the episodes of vertigo. So yeah, so we upped that. And then I guess I was supposed to go back like in February, March, April, May, back in May. And the office never told me this. And so I was trying to get my medication refilled. And I had it with trying to get my medication refilled from the neurologist because they have to call in the prescription to the pharmacy where I live. And then I had a fight with them because they wanted me to come in. But I live, about an hour and a half away. And I have to make time to get down there. And I have to find a perfect day for somebody to take me down there. So I have to, check all our schedules, my mother's schedule, my husband's schedule to get down there. So I was like, I'm done with the neurologist. I can't. It comes down to he can't really help me. Because according to my MRIs, I should not be having dizziness really. Like, it doesn't show anything. And my balance, he tested me, like, for my balance there too. And he said I'm perfectly fine. So, I'm done with him. And now I'm going to an actual, what is it called? An actual doctor, primary care. And he refilled my prescription for me, which is wonderful, thank God. And he gave me more than a month's supply, so I don't have to keep on calling in every month. And he actually wants me to go and get more blood tests done, because I had done some blood tests. And I had done some blood tests for the neurologist to see what was really going on. He wanted to check my thyroid again, or check and see if I have hypothyroidism, because that's what the naturopath said. Turns out I never had hypothyroidism. She was totally wrong. Thyroid's is totally fine. But the place where I went and got my blood test done, there's a doctor there, and he's like, well, just let me look at your test. Maybe I can give you an idea what's possibly going on with you. My vitamins now, I'm not deficient in vitamin D, and my vitamins are great. But he's like, oh, there's nothing wrong with you except for a little cholesterol. Your cholesterol's a little high. But he's like, it's not high enough to really worry about. And then he also said my hemoglobin, it's like my hemoglobin and hemo something sites. Can't remember. It's been, I kind of have to like save up before I go to the doctors kind of thing, because I don't have health insurance. So yeah, I had health, it's not worth getting health insurance for me, because on the end it costs my husband and I a whole lot more than paying out of pocket. So it's like we're throwing $200 to $300 down the toilet for insurance that doesn't help at all. So yeah. So, what else? Oh, so this other doctor who, looked at my blood results, who's not my doctor. He just wanted to help me out a little bit, before I, go back to, before I went back to my neurologist. And he's like, well, it looks like there's nothing really, going on with you except for maybe, he's like, it looks like you might have hemochromatosis. But there is one other test that I still have to take to find out if I have hemochromatosis. It's like the ferritin test or ferritin test. But like all the two, like hemos, whatever it's called, those two tests were high, and then my liver enzymes were high. And he thinks because those are high, most likely the ferritin test will be high. And that's how you find out you have hemochromatosis. Which, he's like, all you need to do is go and give blood. It's easy to manage, I guess. And doesn't cost a lot of money to manage, I guess. That's what he said, but I don't know. So, talked to the neurologist about that, and he knew nothing about hemochromatosis. And then I decided, that new doctor, I talked to him about the hemochromatosis, and I had gotten the blood test done like 3 months prior to going to this new doctor, family doctor thing, and he sent me off to get more blood tests done, because he's like, okay, it's been 3 months, we're going to redo them, fresh blood tests for him, I don't know, and also so I can have this ferritin test or ferritin test, whatever it's called. So, and I still haven't gotten those tests done, and that was back in like August, I think, the end of August. So my business got busy and just life happens, and I just haven't had time to go do it. Haven't been able to really get together with my mom or my husband to go do it, and didn't have the money at the time. Now that the holidays are over and life is getting back to a little normalcy, I'm planning on going to get those tests done. I did look at my last 2 tests though, especially the first test, and I had a ferritin ferritin test, that first blood test, and it was high. And I looked at all the 3 other areas, and according to that test, I would have hemochromatosis. And that was when I was going to the naturopath. So, yeah, she totally missed that. But this doctor that had looked at the doctor that's not my doctor that did the blood test, who did look at my test and said possibly hemochromatosis, he said that a lot of doctors really aren't that knowledgeable about hemochromatosis. Like, it doesn't even enter their mind to test for it. He said it's kind of like chronic fatigue syndrome in a way, where it's like, well, I guess you can have a lot of things going on with your body, and there's like, it's pretty much like if there's something going on with your body and you have no answers for it, and your tests are coming back pretty normal, he said that they should be looking for hemochromatosis. It's like a known thing, but it's not a well-known thing in the medical community, I guess. And he said that there's doctors that don't like to admit that they don't know about that, or I don't know. They just, I don't know. He said that like doctors like to be all-knowing, kind of, you know, and have that attitude of all-knowing, and they don't like to admit that they don't know something. So which I kind of agree with this other doctor about, you know, to a point. So that's my next goal, is to finish and get these other blood tests done so I can see if I have that. And I'm hoping and praying to God this dizziness that I still have is from the hemochromatosis, because I have no idea what else this is from. And since I've been on the what is it called? My antidepressant. The panic attacks have stopped. I do get one every so often, but it's not. Before I went on my nortriptyline, I was having like at least 1 to 2 a day or more. So to go from that to having one once a month, maybe every other month, freaking awesome. So, which I think has helped also my brain to be able to heal, or start to heal. Even though it's been very slow, it kind of like gave my brain to be like, okay, stop being in the fight or flight mode and say, okay, now we can relax and try to, you know, figure out a new way of you to learn how to, you know, balance. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. And then I had somebody, is it on Facebook or on YouTube? Somebody told me about, I don't even remember the name of it, but it has to do with the symptom of dizziness from having an attack, or from or for being on a boat and still having dizziness. It happens to, it's like benign or something dizziness. I can't remember the name of it, but it has to do with people who they're finding out that people with have anxiety disorders or panic disorders, depression disorder, OCD, that our brains tend to get stuck. Like our brain can get stuck in the like it's pretty much like the fight or flight mode, but your brain is like stuck there. And so what's happening is your brain's not able to heal and learn how to figure out a new way of balancing the you know, body or whatever, you know. It's just it causes your brain not to heal, and because it's stuck, and your brain is always stuck in the mode of waiting for that next episode to happen. So it's always it's in the fight or flight mode all the time, like we're just waiting. And that's why you're having panic attacks, and why you're having more anxiety, and why you are having, you know, attacks. It's because it's stuck in this area of, it wants to heal, but it can't, because it's trying to correct your balance 24/7, which causes the dizziness 24/7. So, it was really fascinating, this article. I mean, it was an article, and then I found other articles about it too. But, Oh my God. But yeah, so I did not know that could happen. Because I'm like looking at all these people, and like I have an uncle who has Meniere's disease. He can have vertigo, but like he'll have an attack and then the dizziness is gone. So I don't get that. I had that one attack, that bad attack, and it caused me to have more attacks. And then has caused me to live 24/7 with dizziness, and still to this day I have dizziness. It's becoming lesser and lesser over time, and easier to manage. I've been learning how to live with this. Some days are not so good. Some days are really good. Like I can barely feel it. I am starting to get my energy back, but I will say I still have the dizziness, and some days it just wears me out and wears my brain out. And it's not me, which drives me nuts. It's not me driving myself out, you know, like it's not me that's making me tired. It's my body, it's my brain that's making me tired. And I can't do anything about it. It's the brain trying to compensate, and just sometimes it just is worn out. It wears me out and I get tired. Oh yeah, I do get, with this, I live more so with being tired all the time. I have places like where I feel more comfortable, like home is more comfortable, and I have more energy at home, oddly. But I'm still tired. Like I'm tired. I went to a show. I attempted to go to a show last night and I made it through, and I've been pushing myself through these years to do things, because I know the more I push myself, the quicker this will resolve itself and I will heal. So I went and saw Mandy Harvey. She was on America's Got Talent. Which, oh my God, you've got to see. If you haven't seen her, you've got to go see her. She is amazing. So talented. Oh my God. But I mean, through the show, I'm sitting there really, really dizzy. And that fear of, oh my God, I might have an attack is in the back of my mind the whole entire show. So at the end of the night, I'm freaking exhausted because my brain is, you know, trying to compensate. And then I'm thinking I might have an attack, and I know I'm not going to have an attack. And so I have to tell myself, do not get in that headspace of, oh my God, I'm going to have an attack, because that feeds into that even more. So it's like a vicious circle. It's like kind of like, you know, you're going to put, you can put positive feelings and words out, and you're going to get positive back, or you can put negative and get negative back, kind of thing. So, yeah. What else? So yeah, so that's where I am with my vertigo and dizziness. Right now I'm doing better, a lot better than I was 2 years ago. Still have issues with the dizziness though, and sometimes it just gets on my nerves. Like right now, all I want to do is like enjoy these shows at the Performing Arts Center in my town, where I can, you know, I get really good tickets because my husband works there. But it's just, I don't know, I wish I could just sit there and not have this feeling of dizziness when I'm watching a show. It would be wonderful. And I find that being in a dark room is what really bugs my head. I am fine in the sunlight, and I'm fine with lights on. But as soon as I'm in a dark room, or like I'm in the theater and have, I mean, it's not totally dark. You have the lights on stage, but there's darkness all around you. It bugs my head. It throws my head off more, which I hate. And that's the one thing I hate about going to sleep at night, is turning off the lights and falling and trying to get to that point of sleep. Because I still, like, I'll feel a little dizzy. I'll feel a little extra dizzy when I'm going to bed. So, yeah. So, I'm not a friend of the dark right now. So, and then I have a bunch of friends getting married right now. So, that's fun. So, I'm, you know, on the go a little bit more than I want to be. But it is what it is. And there's 2 weddings I'm a little afraid to go to because I have to travel. And one of them is only 4 hours away, which I can probably deal with a bit better than the one that I'm supposed to go to in the summer. The one that I'm supposed to go to in a couple months is my husband's best friend. He's getting married. And I'm a little worried. I don't know. It would be so nice not to have this dizziness, and I can just go and enjoy and be like, gung-ho, let's do this, you know? And it's just a little harder. Like today, I really wanted to, I went to a wedding today, and I wasn't myself because of my head. And that's what pisses me off about this ailment, is my brain is so, like, sometimes focused on it. It just, I don't know. It's annoying. And all I want to like be able to just sit there and relax and enjoy the wedding. But sometimes my head will not let me. So yeah, luckily, I mean, this one was in town. I didn't have to really go anywhere. I really only went like 2 blocks. So that, you know, I didn't stay for the reception because I wasn't really feeling that good with my head. So yeah, but the one that's in like March, we're driving 4 hours. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not close to home, and I know that's going to cause me more anxiety with the whole head thing. And then the one that's really, really, really scaring me and I'm having fear about, and I really, like, it's my best friend is getting married in July. And she lives Northern California, and from where my husband and I live to their town they're living in, that's like, if we have 2 options, we can drive or we can fly. And I don't really particularly like any of those. So driving will be, I think it's like 12 hours from where we live. I don't know how my head will hold up with driving that many hours and sitting in the car, because sitting also drives the dizziness, even drives my dizziness crazy. I am fine when I'm up walking around doing things, or when I'm laying down on my side. It doesn't bother me. Like, I have no dizziness. I feel totally normal. But once I'm standing, once I'm sitting, focus. But once I'm sitting and I'm sitting up straight, like I am right now, the dizziness is there. And it feels like I'm rocking back and forth like this. And sometimes I feel like things are, I would suspect like an acid trip where things kind of like move like this, like it's wavy. Or like moves quickly, but then comes back to where it's supposed to be. It's weird. But I more so the feeling of I'm on a boat. But yeah. So that's how I feel. Oh, and then like the other option for going to her wedding in California, Northern California, is flying. And I am really, really afraid about that because of the whole ears thing and the pressure and all that stuff. I do not want, because I'm afraid it's going to cause me to feel worse, the dizziness worse, and the vertigo. And I'm afraid it's going to give me an attack of vertigo. And I really don't want vertigo anymore. I don't even want to be dizzy anymore. And I want to be like in good health and want to be there for her wedding and be happy and be able to enjoy it. But Gizzy, please stop whining. Sorry, my dog is whining. And my cat is scratching to come in. But yeah, so that's my like fears right now, are those 2 trips for weddings. And I just want to be able to enjoy them and not feel this dizziness and feel horrible, and because it's not me. So yeah, sorry I'm looking down. I feel like this vertigo and dizziness has like aged me a couple years. So yeah, I will, this like, it's caused me to be a different person, and I don't like it. And it's taken me as long from the time this happened to get used to it. So I'm learning a new way of living. But I mean, I will say I do have a lot of myself back. I just don't like it when I have a bad day. And today seems to be a little bit of a bad day. But I think it has to do with working and then also going to the show last night. And then also going to a wedding today and having to do my makeup. And just, that's why my face is made up. And me being on top of things, and I don't know, and we just got done with the holidays and stuff. I just think it's like, my body's like, I don't know, it needs a vacation. But, sorry, I'm tired. But, yep, I gotta say I gotta stop saying but all the time. So, that is where I am with this lovely vertigo and dizziness. I am just praying and hoping that by July, I'm more so worried about July, that wedding, that I will be back to normal and this dizziness will be finally gone and I won't get it ever again. And yeah, so I don't know. I've done a lot of things for my vertigo and dizziness, and I've changed how I eat, and it did nothing for me. I even stopped drinking coffee for a while. That made it, a whole lot worse. So, you know, now I don't drink as much coffee as I did before. I have like a cup a day, pretty much. Before I was having like, up to like 4 or 5 cups a day. I don't do that anymore. And I'm actually eating more than I was. And I noticed that helps a little. But other than that, I'm still stuck with the dizziness. So, it's not as bad as it was though. Like, I mean, not even like 6 months ago. I feel so much better than I was 6 months ago. But still, it's there. I just want it gone. Like, sometimes I think it's like, I think it's not there anymore, but it's still there. I do a little too much, and then the dizziness is there. It's just, I don't know. So, I'm hoping that I'm actually hoping that my test comes back, yes, I have hemochromatosis, and I'm hoping that's what's causing this, because I know that's an easy fix, hopefully. Pray to God it is. But at least then I have an answer, a real answer, instead of a guess, you know? So I did have, one thing I did have. I had a 23andMe done for, Christmas birthday. My husband got it for me. And all of my genetic testing, I have like really not, it came back good, and health thing came back pretty good. The only thing that I had that came up was hemochromatosis and like something with the eyes. Slight with the eyes, like degenerate something. I don't even know what it's called. Pretty much losing your eyesight as you get older, but it's like slightly, so it's like really nothing to worry about. And pretty typical with old age, as you get older. So yeah. And then the other one was the hemochromatosis. I genetically predisposed to it, but I shouldn't have it. That's what it said, but I don't know. So they said that living, the way you live can contribute to you having it. They don't think it's necessarily, yes, I have like one of my parents had the chromosome for it, so I'm less likely to have it genetically, but it's still there. And living a certain way, like if I was to drink every day, like if I was an alcoholic, which I'm not, I don't even drink anymore, can cause you to have this hemochromatosis. So yeah. So that is where I am at with this. Oh, and recently this guy on YouTube, he's in the comments, he said he had like high iron, so which is in the realm of hemochromatosis, because that's what it is. You have high iron in your system, and your body takes in like 4 times as much iron than a normal person. So and he said that's what his was from. So I'm hoping that's what my dizziness and vertigo is from. I pray to God this is the answer, because I'm tired of living this way with this. I am too damn young to be living with this. I'm only freaking 35. I've spent a majority of my early 30s with this, and I don't want the rest of my 30s to be living. I don't want to be living with this the rest of my 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s. I want it gone forever. And I wish the medical community would do a whole lot more with learning about vestibular issues and balance problems. So it's not so much a guessing anymore, because that's all what it is. Like every time I went to the doctor, it was like, oh, it's a guessing game, and it gets old fast. So yeah. And then I feel like I do more research on it than the doctors do. And they're always shocked when I come in with ideas of possibly what's going on with me. And all of them say you shouldn't be, Googling or what is it called? I don't want to say Club Med. It's not Club Med. Oh my God, what is it called? Whatever. You shouldn't be looking up your own medical problems online, because I guess it could be a bad thing. But, I mean, it can be. You can be like me, where you obsessively do it, and then you become a hypochondriac, and you think you have, like, everything. So, one of the things that has helped me a lot with healing is, okay, this is what I'm doing right now to keep where I'm at and hopefully get better is I'm going to the chiropractor every other week. I have been for months now, or for like 6-7 months. I find that helps my neck tremendously, which helps my vertigo and dizziness, especially the dizziness. I get a massage every other week too. I trade off the weeks between chiropractic and massage because doing both of those in 1 week is too much on my body for me. And I have to work. I am also a massage therapist, so I can't, I need my body to work. So I'm doing that, and I'm taking my nortriptyline, which is the antidepressant, which has helped me tremendously. And then what else? Oh, I had joined a couple support groups on Facebook, and which is great, but I find that looking at the comments and looking at what everybody's going through can add to like my dizziness and vertigo. It's weird. It plays into it. It's just like I was obsessively looking at those and trying to find out what was going on with me. And then I'd find somebody's comment about what they're going through. And then I start researching their stuff. And then I've learned a lot, but it fed into me not getting better because I was obsessively doing it and going online. And then I was like looking at people who've had it for like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. It's like, oh my God, I don't want this that long. I want it gone like yesterday. And then which fed into the fear and fed into, it put that in my mind like, oh my God, I'm not going to heal. So I eventually had to stop looking at those, and I decided to not be in some of those groups. I think I'm still part of like 1 or 2. And I occasionally, like if something pops up on my feed, I'll occasionally read it. But typically I skip over those because it scares me and it does not help with healing. It makes it worse for me. And I don't Google my symptoms anymore. God, I can't think of the med thing that you can look online at. And I don't want to look it up right now. So, I don't do that anymore because that was also feeding into that fear and not healing. So all those were like negatives for me. And as soon as I stopped looking at that. I stopped Googling things. It's like I got rid of the negative, and I also stopped talking about it so much. Because I was like, I gotta stop. It's causing me to stay in this space in my brain, and it was causing me depression, and I'm not saying this isn't, I don't know, I am not one to be depressed. I guess the vertigo and dizziness and living life like this has depressed me, but it would like feed into that, so I wouldn't get out of that space. Because typically, yeah, I'll have like a couple days where I'm like sucky and it's horrible and I'm depressed. And then I can usually get myself out of it. Well, it was causing me not to get out of that space and just be there, which is not good. You don't want to stay in that space in your brain, because it causes more depression and anxiety and causes your body not to heal. So quit looking at that stuff. I don't really look, and I was doing the YouTube thing where I was looking for, what everybody else was going through, finding people like me. I quit doing that too. That didn't affect me as much as the support groups on Facebook. I know they mean well, but sometimes it causes more negativity than it does, you know, positivity and goodness for healing. I know people are just trying to find out what's going on with them and looking for support, which is great. But some of it was just like depressing and keeping me in that place. And so I eventually stopped looking at all of that stuff, and I've gotten better over this last year because of that. And if I have one bad day, I just need to keep in my brain, the next day will be better. If that day's not better, the next day after that will be better. I know there's a good day in those bad days. And the more I do that, actually, the more days I have good than bad. And right now, I have like great weeks and great months. And I'll have maybe like a week or a couple days where it's horrible. Really the only time like my head is like really bad and just driving me nuts, like it was driving me nuts earlier, is because I'm tired. I was working, and then I went to a performance yesterday, and then I went to a wedding today, and it was a lot on my body and system. So I know that's why my head feels off. And possibly I may have a migraine coming, because my head does get worse. Like the dizziness does get worse when there's a migraine coming on. Usually it's a couple days before, and then the migraine will hit. Some days I won't even have like the dizziness beforehand, and then I'll just have a migraine, and then I'm dizzy for like 2 days. Like the dizziness is worse. And I just need like a day or two on the couch. Which I'm grateful that I own my own business, so I can make my own schedule and do that. Thank you, God, for that. So yeah. So that's where I am with this vertigo and dizziness. Right now, my nortriptyline's up at, it's like 50 milligrams. I feel like if I went to 75, maybe it would like totally take this dizziness away, what little is left. Because, I mean, it's not like a major, like, it's not as bad as it was. At all. It's just more of an annoyance than anything. Because all you want to do is enjoy things. And the only time where really it's like, it's almost too much dizziness is when I'm in a dark room. Other than that, I'm fine. Oh, I even did some, continuing education classes this past year. I was able to go and sit in a classroom. I only did the 4-hour classes, but I made it through, and I did, was it 3 of those this last fall? Which I was totally proud of myself. And we stayed in a hotel, which I wasn't able to do a couple years ago. So, yeah, so that's good. I mean, I'm doing things that I was, that I was able to do before I got this. That this has, had caused me not to do, and now I'm able to do more. I can go to the movies again. The movies doesn't affect me as much as like going to see a play or a band. Because for some odd reason, the light on the screen is bright enough. So the darkness doesn't bother me as much. I don't know. It really fascinates me that the lights bother my eyes, or the lack thereof lights bother my head, mainly. So, and when I have a migraine, the lights bother me more so than the darkness. So, I don't know. So, I don't know, like, I'm a complicated human being right now. So, yeah. So, sorry for the long video. I don't know. Leave a comment if you have any questions. If you've gone through this, let me know. Let me know what you've done. So, yeah. Until next time or my next update, which will probably be another like 2 years from now. Until then, see you later. Bye.